Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us once again for another one of our Animal Career Day interviews. This time we're kind of taking a little bit of a left turn and we're still going to be going and talking about some really amazing careers that I wanted to bring a broader focus. There's been a lot of you out there that have been interested in helping the environment as a whole, and I love that. So today we're going to be going and interviewing what it's like to work for the National Park Service. This is something where it's a little bit different and how you go and interact with the world around you. And if you guys want to go and protect the environment and those animals that live in there, this might be a really great career option for you. So we'll go and dive into it a little bit. But first, before we get started, I want to say thank you, everyone. You guys have been so amazing continuing with your support. I absolutely am just always overwhelmed by it. I love seeing you guys, especially now that you can come and visit in person. That's been great. It is incredibly hot outside right now, so if you are unable to visit or if you're unable to travel, we totally get it. So keep following us online, follow our Facebook accounts, our website, our YouTube, all the social media. If you're unable to visit, please feel free to donate as well. Donations are a huge help, and we do rely on them in a lot of ways. So if you are able to go and donate anything, that would be amazing. You can donate right here on our Facebook page or by joining us on our website, which is lionhabitatanranch.org. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it, guys, and I'm gonna have my guest introduce yourself. Hello, guest. Who are you?
Hello, my name is Alicia, and I work for the National Park Service all the way up in Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
So you mentioned
Full,
heat.
yeah.
Here, our hot is anything above 75. Like 75 to 80 is our hot.
It's 115 here.
Nope, nope.
Little bit different. And guys, just
Yeah.
full disclosure, Alicia and I actually grew up together. We have been
Yeah.
together. We grew up in New Hampshire together. So this is, I was actually really excited that we were able to do this interview because I want to show you guys, it is amazing where you can end up in this world. Yeah, definitely not. We both grew up in a very small town in New Hampshire, and here we are, both decided to go and make a difference in the world. So this is a really great option. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
So go ahead and tell us what it is that you do and how you kind of became interested in it.
Yeah, so my official kind of job title is park guide, which is kind of super vague. If you break it down, we call it interpretation and education. So we are kind of interpreting the land, if you will, and interpreting the animals. So we go out and talk to the visitors that we might get, or we go and visit some school children too. And with this age that we are in, we are trying to also do the distance learning thing, so stay tuned for that. But we're still learning our technology. But it's super fun because we don't actually hands-on with animals, but we go into the classrooms with maybe some animal pelts or some horns or some antlers and educate that way. So super cool things.
Great, and I really love this. Again, this is focusing, guys, on your native wildlife. There are so many big, beautiful animals in this world. You know I love them, but I promise you, your own backyard is going to be full of them. And these parks, including your state parks, but national parks as well, the National Park Service, NPS, really does a great job at preserving the natural beauty that is just in our own land. So this is a really great opportunity to go and share that with anybody. And education, yes, I love
Yeah.
that education. So how did you kind of fall into this? When did you decide that this was the career path that you were kind of thinking about?
It was kind of a haphazard sort of thing. I was working on my bachelor's degree, and it was during the winter break that one of my uncles told me about the Student Conservation Association and how they had these super cool internship possibilities with the National Park Service and also the Forest Service and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So I kind of popped in there and found some internships to apply to. And I had to be patient. It took about 2 years to get one of those internships, but my very first internship took me to California, and I just fell in love with the job, this agency, and just everything to come to be. So took a little bit to get one of those internships, but from that kind of networked a little bit, got my foot in the door and started from there.
From what I've heard, getting into any of the kind of government entities can really be a long, slow process. There might be a lot of seasonal positions, but to actually get a full position can sometimes take as many as 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Be
So
patient.
that's something to consider, guys.
Yes.
And we will link that, the student program or anything similar. I will link that in our show notes as we go and do this on the Facebook page. So stick around for that. That's a good idea. If you guys are in high school right now or getting ready to go into high school, this is going to be great to kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah.
So to go and get into a field like yours, what kind of education do they need? Plus any other weird certifications that they might have to get? And what kind of skills do they really need? What kind of interpersonal skills do you see and you're like, you're going to do good here?
Yeah. So I mentioned that I was working on my bachelor's degree. So they don't, the National Park Service doesn't really care for in the ranger positions kind of what your degree is in, but they do want you to have a bachelor's degree. I've worked with anybody from an anthropology majors, sociology majors, English majors, engineering majors. So it doesn't really matter what your degree is in, just as long as you have that degree is going to help you out a lot. But with that being said too, there are some positions that if you have 20 years experience in the field, like I think they'll kind of overlook the degree a little bit. And then also military folks will get their service and their skills will transfer over to the jobs too. So if you're coming out of the military, don't think that you won't qualify, that you definitely will qualify with that military experience. As far as kind of certifications, there's a little bit of a gray area on that because once you get into the National Park Service, they will help you kind of get some certifications that will help you long term. Some of those certifications, I know, Kylie, I've mentioned to you the National Association for Interpreters. That will help you get certified. That's one of those that will help you kind of learn the more education behind the ranger positions. So that one's not required, but it will definitely help on the resume a little bit.
Definitely. And again, with those networking, guys, we've talked about this kind of before. If you have the opportunity to kind of get your name out, to start asking those questions and to kind of be involved, that's a great option to do that. So if you are thinking that you love animals and you love teaching about them, or you want to go and help share the word, I highly recommend checking that out. They have a Facebook page. I will also link that. It's kind of like it's a professional networking group, guys. So I really recommend any of those groups. If you find them, get in on that.
Yeah, because they also do national and regional conventions. So you could kind of pop in on those and like Kylie was mentioning, network, meet and greet, rub elbows, maybe not right now, but all that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's just good learning opportunities. I like that. So why don't you go ahead and tell me kind of what do your daily tasks involve? What's a day in the life look like for you?
Kind of depends on the season. So right now, a normal summer, not this summer, but a normal summer would involve us kind of greeting all of our cruise ship passengers that come up here to Alaska. And they will come into our visitor center and want to know where they can find a moose or a bear or any of these awesome animals that are up here. So knowing the habitats that these animals kind of live in and like to frolic in is very helpful in directing them better to those areas. More in the school time frame, half my day might be spent in our visitor center pretty much waiting for visitors because it's wintertime and we don't get many visitors in the winter. And then the other half of my day will be going to visit the school kids and doing that education, whether it's in the classroom or we also help out quite a bit with some after school programs. So kids can hang out after school and we will come with them, do a quick little lesson because we understand it's after school. So we'll do a quick little lesson and then some type of fun activity to bring that lesson kind of to a little game, if you will, getting them moving and shaking.
Oh, I love that so much. Guys, I
Yeah.
miss my students. I really do. I miss students so much. So that's why I'm glad we're able to bring these videos to you. I hope you guys are learning and having fun. We obviously love doing this kind of stuff because we miss you. I promise you, we miss you.
We do.
Um, what this is a hard one, and it's okay if you have a variety, especially if you might have an individual that kind of caught your heart, or if it's a species. But what is your favorite animal?
Ooh, I will say my favorite animal has changed through the years. Since coming up to Alaska, it has changed to a caribou.
A
So,
caribou.
yes, also
Tell
known
me
as
about a caribou.
reindeer. Yeah, also known as reindeer. So if anybody follows Santa Claus, and I think the neat thing about the reindeer is that Santa was actually helped by female reindeer because the caribou keep their antlers over the winter. So girl power on that one. And then also, since coming up here to Alaska, which it might be a little controversial for some people, but I actually started hunting since coming up here, and caribou are quite tasty. So,
Yes.
yeah.
But that's actually one of the things, if you get into these things, guys, what they do for these populations is to help manage them. That's a big part of what you have to do. So finding out where they're going, the lands, all those populations, this is a pretty big thing. So actually a lot of those hunting permits go straight back into the conservation. In fact, all of those provide about $2 million for the state conservation every year. So it's actually really important.
Yeah.
What is something about your job that nobody would expect?
Ooh. Um, let's see here. I think it's really fun when visitors come in and they ask us a whole bunch of questions because they're super excited. But I think what people don't expect is that we don't always know the answers. I think people think that we know everything about everything. And I like to say that we know a little bit about a lot, that we're not experts in necessarily one particular field. But also within the National Park Service, too, I think a lot of folks are used to seeing kind of the frontline people, but we have, just like any other business, we have administrative people, we have IT people, we have all these behind the scenes folks. So just like any private business, if you will, the National Park Service has all these different divisions that are working behind the scenes to make sure that the visitors and the students can be helped out. So I think that's pretty cool to think about.
Yeah, I like that too. And again, guys, that's a kind of good option if you want to go and help out animals, but you know that maybe you don't want to work outside all day, or maybe some things. They all need those helps. It is perfectly okay to go and be an accountant because everybody needs them in our lives. And so that's a really good one too.
Yeah.
What is a common misconception about your job?
Ooh. Um, Kind of going back to the education, I think a lot of folks assume that we have some type of park management or conservation degree. So I think that's a common misconception that, like I mentioned before, we have all sorts of degrees, in that we kind of came to the National Park Service in all different paths. So I think that's really cool about the agency, is that it's all these different minds coming together. It's not just anybody that had a park conservation degree. That it's really cool to have English majors working next to you because they can maybe proofread some of your things for you.
Yes. And again, this is another one, guys. We've talked about this. The degree itself isn't as important because what college does is it teaches you how to learn. You learn how to learn there, and that's a really good skill set to have. It teaches you how to work in group settings. It teaches you how to be very independent with your research.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to learn how to do research, if there is an animal that you want to go out and learn about, you have to learn how to do that research. And so learning how to do research papers in college is something that is seared into my brain forever.
Yes.
And while it's not fun at the time, it's going to be worth it. And you actually will end up using those skills a lot. What is the hardest part of your job?
Ooh. I would say, like, more emotionally, it's actually kind of disappointing the visitors, like having things closed right now, or if a campground is full and they can't get their campsite. Because we all understand that folks have spent maybe years, if not decades, saving for these trips and planning and finally getting to that destination and getting their bubble burst is really disappointing. So that's probably my least favorite part of the job is having those unhappy people.
Yeah. Especially because they're so excited to be in your nature. They're so excited to share this
Yeah.
with you, and they can't. And guys, we know that too when we have to go and turn people away. It
Yeah.
is really hard.
Yes.
Yeah. What is your favorite part of the job?
uh, the complete opposite, making the days of people could be just something super simple as getting their park stamp, that we have the stamp that they've been longing for. It could be that it's just a bright sunny day and they saw all these animals in the park, or it just could be that they're finally in Alaska. So just seeing the smiles on the people's faces is really awesome.
That is pretty amazing. Let's actually go and talk about those stamps. Guys, if you have never heard about this, let's go and talk about this. How can my amazing students who are watching this right now enjoy their parks in a completely fun way?
Yeah, and I wish I had one with me right now, but similar to a passport, if you were traveling internationally, that the National Park Service actually has a passport for the national parks. And similar again, if you were to enter a different country, that each park has a different stamp. And on that stamp, it will tell you the park. And bigger parks, kind of like, let's say, Yellowstone, will have multiple parks within, or multiple stamps within that park. So you could go to the different visitor centers and get that stamp. And on that stamp too, it will also have the date that you're there. So you can look back 10 years from then and be like, oh, I remember our family trip to Yellowstone. I had so much fun. So it could definitely be a little, almost like a scrapbook, but it's just like a regular international passport just for your national parks.
Awesome.
Super cool.
And
Yeah.
who can participate in that program?
Anybody. Yeah, but also
Yes.
there is kind of similar to the passport booklet, there's also the junior ranger programs that a lot of the parks have these little booklets that are geared more towards the younger folks, but some parks also have them geared towards adults. But it's just a little
Really?
workbook. Yeah, I said adults, like kids at heart, anybody. But they're geared just to kind of get those quick snippets about the park. So you're not kind of going into a textbook per se, but you're just getting these little snippets, maybe about the animals, maybe geology, maybe the plants, what have you. And it depends on the park whether they want you to do a different number of pages or different activities, what have you. But once you do whatever it tells you to do, you can actually earn a really cool badge or patch. So that's something else. And both the stamps and the Junior Ranger programs are absolutely free. The passport, you do have to pay for the actual like little passport booklet. But once you get that booklet, the stamps are free, which is awesome.
Yes, that is really, really great. Another great program that I hold pretty near and dear to my heart because it actually came out the year I started volunteering is the Every Kid in a Park program.
Yes.
Yes, this is an amazing one. So I'm actually really excited to get to talk about this because I know that everybody watching this has no idea what this is. So let's go and talk about what Every Kid in a Park is.
It's amazing. That's what it is. So every fourth grader is eligible for a free pass to all of their federal lands. The only qualification is that you are a fourth grader, pretty much. That's it. You do have to fill out maybe like 2 or 3 questions online. There is a website that you can go to just to kind of verify that you are a fourth grader. And then once you do verify that you are a fourth grader, you print off this little voucher, and then you can bring that voucher anywhere that sells any of the passes. And then it is a free pass. So you turn in the voucher and you get this super cool card that looks very much like a credit card, but you will have the power for all your friends and family that they will want to travel with you because the fourth graders can get in for free, which is awesome.
Yeah. as many times as you want, anywhere. Guys, if this is federal land, you can go and participate in it. In fact, some states also do participate, so that's always really fun. But definitely, you can look up your local forestry sites. You can look up some of your, again, the Park Service is really good. And you can look up some of your waterways, which is usually done by, I can't think of their name right now.
The Bureau of Reclamation.
Yes.
And then also the wildlife refuges too are included.
Yes. Yeah.
And,
so Fish and Wildlife Services.
Army Corps of Engineers too.
Yep. Yeah. Because they actually do our Hoover Dam. So
that's right.
Yep. Yeah. So that would be there. So yeah, you guys can go and visit the Hoover Dam. You guys can go. So for my local people, you guys can go to, we have the Desert Wildlife Refuge, which is right here in town. It is the largest wildlife refuge in the continental United States. We have, and that's literally a 20-minute drive just north of town, guys. I'm not even kidding. It's, nobody knows that it's there, but it's there, and they have great bird watching. You can go visit the Grand Canyon. You can go visit the Hoover Dam and all of these places with this little card. And you can go, if you want to go every weekend for the year, you go every weekend for the year. You do it.
Yes. You do have to be a fourth grader. I know it does kind of go by the school year. So I think the pass starts in September and then it will go through the end of August of like the next year type of thing.
Yes.
But as long as you are a fourth grader.
Pretty neat. And again, we will link that. So if you have any fourth graders in your lives or anything like that, you can go and push that forward. I was so excited when this program came out, and I actually traveled to all the schools teaching about it. So it was amazing.
That's awesome.
The education field runs deep.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. We're still doing the same things.
So if you guys want to go and visit Alaska, guys, you guys can go and get into these parks for free. Do it. Do it.
Yeah. Yes.
And then take lots of pictures so I can be jealous. Another question that we had, is it full sunlight there where you are right now?
So I am in Anchorage, Alaska. So full sunlight for Anchorage it's kind of a little weird because the sun does set here in Anchorage, but it stays dusk overnight type of thing. So here in Anchorage, we don't get the full sunlight. But if you travel north all the way up to Barrow, which is, and I'm going to butcher this right now because they went back to the native name, Ukqiavik, which is our northernmost city town in the whole United States, tippity top of Alaska. They are the ones that get 24 hours of sunlight for like 3 or 4 months. It's crazy.
That is super crazy. So
yes.
Yeah, it goes to show you guys there are some amazing places in this world. And following these amazing career paths can be a really fun way to explore them. And we were just talking about this before we started, guys. Again, we grew up in this little town on the East Coast. And here we are, we're doing pretty darn cool things. So it's pretty neat doing this. So go out, guys, follow those passions, follow those dreams. If there is something that you love about this world or that you want to do, there is most likely a career path out there for you. So let us know, drop those in those comments. I will let Alicia know. We'll go and we will follow those together. So if you have any questions about what it's like to go and work in these places and work outside, this is another great one where you are contributing to the survival of the natural world. And I think that is really important. So thank you for doing what you do. Pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it goes, guys, you can do this. It doesn't matter where you are right now. You can do these amazing jobs. So thank you so much for tuning in. Alicia, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And it goes back to your networking because, again, we grew up together, but here we are.
That means I have a place to crash when I go to Alaska, guys. That's what that means.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, once again, guys, stay tuned for more. This is for you. If you have questions, if you want to know, reach out to us. You know that I'm usually the one commenting, so you'll see us on the Facebook page. If you see me commenting, I promise you I'm the only Kylie commenting on anything that is Lion Habitat Ranch. So go ahead, message me, things like that. I absolutely love answering your questions, and we can definitely go and find something for you. There is something in this world for you, I promise, I promise. And yeah, any final words about, you know, if somebody wants to go and pursue this as a career, do you have any words of wisdom?
I would say definitely take that intern position first because you will learn a whole bunch of things. You will meet a whole bunch of people. You'll kind of figure out how to build your resume a little more too. But those intern positions, even volunteering, if you are still in high school or college, if you have a local state park, a local forest, whatever, right down your street, just even volunteering 2 hours a week will look great on your resume. No matter what, just get that foot in the door, get that experience, and just it's not a job when you're out hiking for half your day. So it's awesome. Yeah.
That is great. Well, thank you guys once again for joining us. Again, we will be posting these every week. So as long as I have people to interview, that is one thing. I actually am running out of people to interview. So I'm hoping to go and reach out to people. But with things going on right now, it's actually been fairly hard to. So there might be some weeks gone and skipped in between there. I'm hoping to go and do forestry coming up soon. And also I'm trying to reach out to some NOAA biologists. So that will be super cool. Check in on that. So just, you know, I might have to skip a week, guys, because I'm trying and it's really hard to go and get people when they're in the middle of the ocean. So we're trying. Yeah, so keep following back. Always ask those questions. And again, guys, we really appreciate any donations that you have. Feel free to go and also check out Amazon Smiles. If you have us listed, that is a great way to go and continue doing what you do. And then we get to benefit that a little bit as well. But again, you can always donate here on our Facebook page or by visiting lionhabitatranch.org. Can't wait to see you again. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.